Om Sarvadharma Sthapakastvam Sarvadharma Swarupaka Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnayate Namaha. We are studying here Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master, second part, the Master, the sadhak bhav of that Leelaprasanga. That means when God becomes man, there are several aspects of this God appearing as man, and one of the aspects is that he is the ideal sadhak. So that sadhak aspect of God becoming man is to be studied in this second part. And what we studied in the last two classes, there are several points involved in that, several. So I wish to take up from the beginning today. And the first para we should read as per original Bengali, little modified in translation and especially modified in the order of things. First para. So para is lack of records concerning divine incarnations as aspirants or spiritual strugglers or sadhaks. The study of the religious histories of the world reveals that except in the case of Lord Buddha, the teacher of the world, and Sri Chaitanya, there is little detailed account available of the activities done by them as in the mood of spiritual sadhana. And there is little of detailed account available of the activities done by them in the mood of spiritual aspirant or as the spiritual sadhana. In the history of their lives, we do not meet with any detailed description of the unbounded love and indomitable zeal which they nurtured in their hearts and with the help of which they proceeded to realize the truth in life. Nor do we come across detailed discussions of the hope and despair, admiration and awe, or rather wonder and awe. By Vismaya, you can put awe first and wonder. Of happiness or joy and painful yearning. This pang can be translated as painful yearning, alternating with each other. Gripped by which they felt now elated, now dejected, or now shaken. The Bengali word is muyama, so shaken. Though never allowing the vision of the goal to grow dim even for a moment. Further, or we translate it as, in other words, we do not find either a natural nexus of cause and effect between their wonderful actions and behavior during the later parts of their lives on the one hand, and the education and actions and aspirations of their childhood, youth, etc. Education, actions, aspirations of their childhood, youth, etc. So education is described, he went to Sandipani and learned this and that. But how it leads him to become the Dharma Rakshak, Dwarkadish, where is the connection? And what were their aspirations as the children? I want to catch moon. Yes. Actions, eating clay. On the other. For example, how Lord Shri Krishna, the darling of the gopis of Vrindavan, became transformed into Shri Krishna, the Lord of Dwaraka and the resuscitator of religion, is not clearly indicated. Only a fact or two of the wonderfully Catholic life of Jesus the Christ before his 30th year is known to us. One should be marked from here the broadness of the mind of Saradananda Swamiji, or as disciple of Thakur, because Indians in general do not accept Jesus as avatar. They are stuck with the idea of 10 avatars. So, Thakur's disciple, as taught by Thakur, were of a very, very broad mind. And they could, if they could understand the signs of avatar as given by Hindu scriptures, then they accept him as avatar. So whatever the Gita talks about avatar, whatever the Bhagavad talks about the avatar, if those things are found in anybody's life, he is called the avatar. So this is one point important. Only the all-conquering preaching peregrinations of Acharya Shankar are recorded. Here again, Shankara is not included in the 10 incarnations. So this idea of 10 incarnations is a very poor, wrong idea. And so it is with all others. Devotees do not like the idea that incarnations are imperfect at any period of their life. The reason for this is difficult to envisage. Difficult means it lies in the depth psychology of man. And Saradananda Swamiji is speaking up, says difficult, but in the next line, he has inference or probability, he is stating. He is sure of that, but he is stating it as probable. Perhaps. Perhaps those things have not been recorded on account of the excessive devotion. Excessive devotion is not using as a praise. Excessive, that means abnormal. On account of the excessive devotion on the part of the devotees. Perhaps they were hesitant to attribute human imperfections to divine characters. Human has imperfections. Divine should not have imperfections. But they are born as man. But there the devotees don't want to see that. And therefore thought it reasonable to shut them out from people's gaze. That means they knew, but they did not allow that to come to people's gaze. So it is not recorded in the history. Or it may be making it little dilute, or it may. That means that will cause harm, this will cause right. That is the first idea. Second is that will be more beneficial than this. Or it may be the devotees thought that they would be doing more good to men by holding before their eyes as an ideal the fully developed noble ideas and sentiments of these great ones than by tracing the history of their superhuman efforts to arrive at them. The important point is superhuman efforts. That means their sadhana itself is not like a man. So that itself will show their glory. But the devotees thought that that will not show so much glory as the perfected state will take. Now Saradananda Swamiji has reconciled both. First he starts writing from this Guru Bhava. But the same period he is taking now for sadhana. And in many respects this is more important, and that he is showing now. He wanted to show the personality of Thakur, so he has taken the Guru Bhava. And that Guru Bhava was right from childhood itself. And this Sadhak Bhava comes in between. This is not from childhood itself. He will show in one place the first manifestation of Sadhak Bhava. So, as a child, he was not a sadhak. As Gopi Janavallabh, he does not appear to be a sadhak. Tracing the history, tracing, we have to find out, we have to analyze, find out. Tracing the history of their superhuman efforts to arrive at those perfected states. And therefore, they deemed it useless to place on record those endeavors. So, that will not cause, this will cause better, so don't show this. Result is same. The devotees like to see their beloved master ever perfect. Devotees like to see. One should not proceed as per one's likes. In the Kathopanishad, there is a Shreya and a Praya. So likes is not the thing. What will ultimately be good for me, that is the criteria. The devotees like to see their beloved master ever perfect. They refuse to admit that because they assumed human forms, any kind of human weakness or lack of insight or power could ever creep into their character. No human weakness, no lack of insight as man, or shortage of power. This power thing we see very much in Sri Krishna. And Rama straight away says in Valmiki Ramayana that I am man. Their actions will prove that they are not man. They are always anxious to see the whole universe. Here appears general and we made it particular, but in Bengali itself is particular. So one word is missing. Perhaps proofreading. They are always anxious to see the whole universe inside the mouth of child Krishna. Here child Krishna is removed and mouth is removed. So, they are always anxious to see the whole universe inside the mouth of child Krishna. And not only are ever eager to read the experiences and intelligence of an adult in the meaningless acts and efforts of their child. In childhood, when it is not developed, they are acting instinctively. So he says meaningless. They don't have any particular aim or like that. So it is meaningless. Acts and efforts. What effort they are doing? To catch mitti. Or Ramachandra. Ramachandra is trying to walk. Tulsidas is described as beautiful song and is falling down and getting up. So there is great beauty in divine acting as man that they are missing. He is falling so that his father should pick him. Like that they will interpret. But would strain every nerve to view them as the perfect embodiments of omniscience and omnipotence and of universal love and Catholicity. Tolerance is not a good word. Somehow, all right, you do. Catholicism, broadly, I accept you also. So this broadness and universal love and omniscience and omnipotence, they want to see in the meaningless activities of child. So Sadhana Sanjay is pointing out, we miss the sweetness of their child. No wonder, therefore, they come to the conclusion that it is only in order to elude the eyes of men. That means man should not understand that they are God. That is the idea in the incarnation. Man should not understand that they are incarnation or they are God. Why should they not understand? Unless they understand him as God, how they will take him to their ideal? So one point. In order to elude the eyes of men, that the incarnations of God fail the mental efforts. Fail means? No, in Bengali, the word is stronger. Mithya bhan. That means
misconception.
No, they know it is not like that, and yet they are sure. For example, Thakur's cancer. He has no cancer, but he shows he has cancer. So that people will not catch him as avatar. Those who without understanding call him an avatar. Thakur has joked on this point, you know.
Yes, otherwise people will.
Now, people, Ram Babu, Girish Babu, they are saying you are avatar, avatar, avatar. Then Thakur said, there is pain here. And he said, now stand up and give a lecture on this. So like that. So this cancels their being born as man. And why should they act falsely? What is the idea inside? Thakur is not falsely showing he has cancer. He has cancer. The body. And Thakur's divinity is in the fact that he is still blissful. Unless we catch this, you see this cancer, my Guruji always used to say cancer Leela.
body has cancer.
In our direst difficulties, are we God conscious or not? If we are little sneezing and all that, we forget to do japa. So that is what Thakur is showing. Showing means not appearing to show. Huh? That is being manifested in his life. He has cancer. And he has excruciating pain. But inside bliss is there. This simultaneous thing we have to understand. Not that he does not have pain, but his inner bliss. Any man of realization, in the Gita 6th chapter it is described. The inner bliss is not described by the acutest pain. Shankar says, Shastra Sinnapatena vi. And we give a small example. Just now we are talking of cancer. Thakur in Bhav Samadhi, nobody was near, he fell down. He fell down actually, he did not show that he is falling down. And his hand, the bone was not broken, slipped. So the doctors put a bandage, lintel like that, and they tied it. And Hari Maharaj, future Swami Turiyananda, heard this and came to see. And he said, I heard that something like this happened. Then Thakur is showing the pain. See how much painful it is. And because the doctors have put lintel, I cannot make it straight also. And after 5 minutes, Hari Maharaj said, let it be, Maharaj, let it be. I see you are floating in bliss. You are immersed in bliss. And to that Thakur said, Dhare fele chale sala. The clever boy has caught me. So this one fact should make everything clear. We should not expect that if we are spiritual, we will not have headache, we will not have this or we will not have that. The brightest example of Thakur's householder devotees, Nagmashe, for several years of his life he had a headache. But that did not disturb his joy, his devotion. So this simultaneous existence of some, in the Vedanta Sar, even the mind gets affected. The being is different. So when Thakur's nephew died, first he jumped, laughed and jumped and because he had this spiritual vision. But next day he wept so bitterly, as if towel is being wrung in his heart. And then he never went to that building. This had happened in Babu's Kuti. So they did not go there by the association. So how can we deny this? And if this makes us think that they are not incarnations, then we are false. I know a person well known to me. He had Sri Ramakrishna's photo for some days. And then he said, when I read of his cancer, I thought, how he can have cancer? So very wrong ideas of what is God and what is man, and God as man, that we must understand. Now Parvati did so much tapasya for Shiva. Why? Sure. Now when Rama decided to test Sita, Agni Pariksha, then Brahma and others came and asked, do you not know what you are? He says, yes, I know, I am a man, son of Dasharatha. That does not mean I am not God. And that is the beauty. Inside God, outside man. Anyway, so this idea, fail, in Bengali is mithya bhan. Bhan means don't. Mithya. Mithya meaning is that they know it is not like that and that's why. What is Mithyavan? Mental efforts. Now, I want to see whether it is mental efforts or what. मानसिक चेष्टा एवं आहार निद्रा, two things. So, mental effort. Mental efforts of spiritual practices. Sadhan, bhajanadi, manasik cheshta. So, mental efforts of, here we should add bhajan. Bhajan, mental efforts of devotion, spiritual practices and actions of devotion. Spiritual practices and actions of devotion. That is one side, huh? And the bodily states now, physical. Hunger. Hunger is an imperfection. So avatar shows I am hungry, people will think that he is not God. Sleep, God in his formless aspect, God in his original state does not sleep, he is always awake. But when he is born as man, he will sleep. Fatigue, he should never be tired. Disease, he should never have disease. Death, death up to. When there is a body, it has to die. Etc. So these are all mithya bhan. So that people should not understand their God. Why they should hide? They are come with that purpose. Even in our time, we have known many eminent devotees of our Master. Eminent devotees. Having the firm conviction that his disease was a feigning of this sort. That he has taken up cancer so that people will understand him as God, or they should be able to serve him and all that. In order to give a chance for people to serve him, he has taken cancer. And when he wants, he will throw it away. Up to this we had read yesterday, right? It does not stand to reason that such an idea interferes with devotion. So he gives this. That they think this is that described so that our devotion will be disturbed. It is due to mere weakness that the devotees arrive at such a conclusion. No, yesterday we heard much more. That the devotees arrive at such a conclusion. They do not like to attribute human efforts, aims, etc. There is some aim they set up and they change. Real aim, efforts to the incarnations of God only because such a notion they think would harm their devotion. Therefore, we have nothing to say against that. But, you understand? Nothing to say, but means it is not right. Because this is their idea, we don't want to say anything. But such weakness, it is certain, is seen in a devotee when his devotion is not mature enough. So all this showing is because your devotion is not mature. You think if this happens, they will lose the faith in God. It is only in that state of devotion that he cannot think of the divine Lord as a divider of powers. Always Aishwarya, Aishwarya he wants to see. In course of time, when devotion matures and the love of God, this is the sadhak bhav prayojan. We have to struggle. When devotion matures and the love of God deepens considerably, such thoughts regarding the powers of God are resented as veritable obstacles to the path of devotion, and the devotee carefully avoids them from a distance. Thakur used to teach always like this. Don't try to see Dashapuja Kali and all that. It will sit there, oh, fear. We are not able to go near him. Arjuna saw Vishwarup Darshan. And then said, please, please, please become my friend again. I want to love you. All the devotional scriptures say, now he is going to the scriptures. This is common people's idea. Now come to the scriptures. All the devotional scriptures say this over and over again. We see that although Sri Krishna's foster mother Yashoda daily experienced the divine powers of her boy, she looked upon him as just as a boy and fondled or chastised him accordingly. Because that is the expression of love. And this love will help her grow. Always if it is like that. They say that when Rama was born, he appeared as the Chaturbhuj Vishnu. Then Devaki said, I wanted a child, not God. Become a child. Rama, I am talking. Social. Same thing with Devaki. Same thing with Devaki. The gopis similarly could not attribute any relation to Sri Krishna other than that of a beloved, in spite of their knowledge that he is the very cause of the universe. You know this point? In Bhagavatam, when Ras Leela, Krishna disappeared, then out of that pang of sorrow, gopis are singing, that is called Gopi Gita. And in that they are saying, Nakalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akila Dehina Mantaratmadri. Vikanasa Artito Vishwaguptaye Sakha Udayivan Sattvatam. We know that you are not a son of a gopi, you are not human. You are the innermost soul of all beings. Brahma requested you to protect the world, and that is why you are appearing as a man. But they want to play with him, they want to love him. So any relation to Sri Krishna other than that of a beloved. Instances can easily be multiplied. That means he is showing the examples of mature devotion. When the devotion is mature, they know he is God, but they do not want to see that Aishwarya. They want to love him. The master's teaching, love relation to the love. Love relation. Love relation to the intimacy of thou and I cannot stand when knowledge of powers introduced. This love relation. That means in the language expression, in Bengali, there are three pronouns for you. Apni, tumi, tui. And in English, out of gentlemanliness, we have dropped that thou. But for God, they still say thou. Because he is the nearest. So that shows the love relation. Love does not want to keep a distance. Respect and all that is all right. But such Aishwarya comes, then this does not come. And nobody's spiritual attitude should be tampered with these two separate points. Even the devotees of the Master express their great eagerness to have some kind of vision as a direct evidence of particular powers of God. How to understand God is all powerful? We want to see Him like that. Endearingly would he say to them many a time, it is not good to have such visions. Fear will intervene when you see powers. Feeding and dressing him and the deep loving relation of thou and I will all cease. Alas, how often did we not feel piqued on such occasions and think that he evaded our request only because he would not bestow on us the vision? One faith used to come in all the devotees about Thakur, that he can do anything which he likes. We are fit or not fit, he can make us fit, like that. But he will proceed according to some laws of spiritual progress. However, if at that time any devotee took courage and said feelingly with a firm faith, your grace can make the impossible possible. Please be compassionate and grant me the vision. The master would reply in an endearing tone, can I bring about anything, my child? What mother wills happens. That means as a person, don't think. As the reality, if that wills, no, anything, God can do anything which He wills. God does not do anything which you want. If God does everything as per your wish, then you are omnipotent, not God. That is an important point. But we feel like that. What mother wills happen. Thus answered, if you would still insist and say, your will be mother's too. So they found out that his will is always successful. The master usual reply was, my child, I do wish that all of you may have all kinds of spiritual states and vision in general, all kinds. But is it fulfilled? So showing that as a man and as God. Instead of desisting even then, if the devotee persisted in his faith, the master only expressed his love to him by a gentle smile and an affectionate look, or would sometimes say, what shall I say? Let mother's will be done. Why is doing all that? The second point has come. This faith of the devotee does not want to disturb. But the master, although pressed so importunately, never tried to break that firm belief of the devotee and destroy his spiritual attitude. So that is the wonderful point in Sri Ramakrishna. So lovingly among them postponed, that's all. Many a time did we see such behavior on the part of the master and hear him say, the spiritual attitude of no one should be destroyed. So this has come as an important side point. Though we are discussing the Aishwarya and non-Aishwarya, but as a side point, this thing, important point has come. So he takes up an issue now. He takes up a full story.
So it is like somebody persisting in
Swami Vivekananda influencing Vedanta. An example of the destruction of spiritual attitude on the occasion of the Shivratri at the Kashipur garden. Although not directly connected with the subject matter of this introduction is need of discussion of spiritual law. The topic once raised should be explained to the reader with reference to an incident. That is Saradananda Swamiji always type. Some principle he has stated, example should be there. The power of transmitting to others the capacity to realize spiritual truths by mere touch or by willing. Now here the clauses should be understood. The capacity to realize spiritual truths by touch. No. The power of transmitting to others the capacity to realize spiritual truths. This power by a mere touch or by willing falls to the lot of very few aspirants. The master told us time and again that Swami Vivekananda in course of time would have the privilege of possessing the power and therewith do much good to the people. This point we have to discuss, important point. Such a highly qualified person as the Swami is indeed rare in the world. The master knew it well from the very beginning of their meeting and started molding his character and religious life in a special way by imparting the knowledge of the unity of existence spoken of in the Vedanta. Accustomed to the dualistic mode of worship of the Brahma Samaj, first he is showing Swamiji will do that in future. Accustomed to the dualistic mode of worship of the Brahma Samaj, the Swami regarded the non-dualistic mode taught in the Vedanta as a blasphemy. But the master tried in various ways to make him practice it without disturbing his present faith. The Swami said, as soon as I went to Dakshineshwar, the master gave me those books which he forbade others to read. Among other books, a copy of the Ashtavakra Samhita was in his room. When the master found anyone reading that book, he would forbid him and would give him instead such books as Mukti and how to attain it, the Bhagavad Gita or some Purana. But scarcely had I gone to him when he took out the book and asked me to read it. Or he would ask me to read some part of the Adhyatma Ramayana, which is full of non-dualistic ideas. I said, and sometimes bluntly, what is the use of reading this book? It is a sin even to think I am God. The book teaches the same blasphemy. It should be burnt. The master smiled and said, do I ask you to read it to yourself? I ask you to read a little to me. Please do it. In that case, you will not have to think that you are God. So I had to read a little for him at his request. Again, although he was training the Swami that way, the master was guiding Swami Brahmananda and his other boy devotees in their spiritual life in various other ways. Some through the worship of God with forms, Some through that of God with attributes but without forms, Nirakar Sagun. Others through pure unalloyed devotion, and that does not mean Shuddha Bhaktiya, that means without mixing of knowledge. That is pure unalloyed. Only devotion. Through pure unalloyed devotion. Yet others through devotion mingled with discrimination between the real and the unreal, and so on. Thus, although Swami Vivekananda and other boy devotees sat and slept, ate and walked together and discussed religious theories in the company of the Master Dakshineshwar, the latter was training them all in diverse ways according to their peculiar tastes and tendencies. That is the beauty. All together, but is teaching everybody different. And this we should mark in the gospel also. Master is mentioning Thakur is telling these two swords, like that. Though everybody is listening to that, but that person will take it more seriously. One example from Swami Vivekananda, funny. After a lecture, when he is walking with the devotees, so one devotee says, I did not like that point of yours. It is not for you, he said. Other devotee said, that was the best point, Swamiji. Yes, it was for you. That is a universal teacher. Now the example. It was March 1886. The master at the Kashipur garden was daily becoming weaker on account of a disease in his throat. But he engaged himself with a far greater and much more unstinting enthusiasm than before in molding the spiritual life of his devotees, particularly the life of Swami Vivekananda. There. He did not stop merely with teaching the Swami the path of sadhana and helping him to carry the teaching into practice, but was also training him up in something else, namely how to prevent the other boys' devotees from returning to worldly life and how to guide them and hold them together. So, leadership also he was teaching, molding. Every evening after dusk, he would ask all others to move away, call the Swami to himself, and teach him all this for 2 or 3 hours continuously. Sometimes drawing him into a discussion to make him sure of the conviction. Vade vade jayate tattva bodha. Not always, Vade vade jayate kantashvasha. But when the aim is to find the truth, then this vada is helpful. From the words and actions of the master, it seemed to most of the devotees that he was feigning the throat disease in order to establish his order firmly, and that he would be all right as soon as that purpose was fulfilled. So training everybody, training Swamiji, making leader, for that he has cancer. So much pain. As days rolled on, Swami Vivekananda alone felt in his heart of hearts that the master was arranging everything and preparing, as it were, to take a long, long leave of the devotees. One sentence. It is doubtful, however, whether even he was always conscious of it. The master's divinity would be so brilliantly manifested at that time that even Swami Vivekananda will think that all this disease is paining. That is avatar.
That thought has might have come there.
And one fact is that he has no pain inside. Latu Maharaj was asked that Swamiji loved Thakur so much, how did he go away to Buddha Gaya? Latu Maharaj says, Loren Bhai janto Thakur kono kashta nahi. Nare knew that Thakur has no pain inside. But that is inside.
Still that
Anyway, but
thought is coming there.
Saradananda Swamiji's statements are so balanced and accurate. So he mentioned this. All others were being carried away in that. Swami Vivekananda was dealing analytically, objectively, keeping his brain cool, but even he could not always keep. Then there was a slight awakening in the Swami, slight awakening of the power of transmitting spirituality to others by a touch. No doubt he had felt that power arise within him from time to time, but he had not yet tested the truth or falsity of it by touching anyone that way. Still in various ways, that is Swamiji's habit is stating now, still in various ways, he got the proofs of the truth of the doctrine of non-duality spoken of in the Vedanta and came to believe in it and tried to introduce that doctrine among the devotees, young or old, married or unmarried, with the help of reason and inference, not by touch or any such thing. There arose then a keen controversy over it, leading to sharp differences of opinion, nay agitation among the devotees. For it was the peculiar nature of the Swami to assert vehemently what he understood to be true and to exhort its acceptance from others by means of logical arguments. This is not supporting, it is stating that is the nature of Swami. Then the boy Swamiji, sir, Saradananda Swamiji has shown this defect by one word. He was not mature enough, that's all. He may be great Swami Vivekananda teacher of the world, but at that point of time he was not mature enough. That is the meaning of this boy. In Bengali, Balak Swamiji তাহা তখনও বুঝিতে পারেন নাই. Saradananda Swamiji is not afraid. I should not criticize Swamiji. At that time he was Balak. So this boy means immature. The boy Swami did not realize that truth in the practical world assumed different forms according to different conditions and capabilities. Truth is one, but you at that point of time cannot feel it. So that truth itself takes this form to suit you and then pulls you. It was the Shivratri in the month of Falgun. You know there is Shivratri every month, that is called Mahashivratri. 3 or 4 of the boy devotees were keeping the fast with the Swami. They had a mind to spend the night in worship and in keeping vigil. Lest the noise should disturb the master's rest, the worship was arranged in a small room built for the kitchen, situated a little away to the east of the residential quarters. There was a fair shower of rain after dusk. The devotees were delighted to see in the masses of newly formed clouds flashes of lightning ever and anon, simulating the matted hair of stew. In that Ganga is there. After finishing the worship, japa and meditation pertaining to the first quarter of the night, the Swami was taking rest and conversing with others sitting on the worshipper's seat. One of the companions went out to prepare a smoke for him and another went towards the residential quarters on an important work. Just at that time, a keen feeling of the divine power arose suddenly in the Swami. He wanted to, because he was fasting and doing this and that, he wanted to observe its effects by putting it to test that night and said to Swami Abhedananda, who was sitting in front of him, "Do touch me for a while." In the meantime, the boy who had gone to prepare tobacco entered the room and saw the Swami sitting motionless in meditation. Why is describing that? He has a proof for it. And A with his eyes shut, touching the Swami's right knee with his right hand, which he noticed was rapidly trembling. A minute or two elapsed thus when the Swami opened his eyes and said, "That is enough." How did you feel? A. Exactly like something entering into one when one holds an electric battery, one's hand trembling all the while. The other person asked, A. Was your hand trembling of itself when you touched the Swami? A. Yes, I could not keep it steady, though I tried to. So something is happening. There was then no more talk about it. The Swami smoked. All of them then applied their minds to the worship and meditation pertaining to the second quarter of the night. A entered into deep meditation at that time. We had never seen him enter into such deep meditation before. The whole of his body became stiff, with his neck and head slightly bent. The consciousness of the outer world appeared to have completely disappeared for some time. Everyone present thought that he had such meditation as a result of having touched the Swami a little while previously. The Swami also noticed that state of his and indicated it to a companion by a sign. Later on, Abhidhan Swami has denied it. That is why it's getting so much. Behind me, yes, he touched me, I felt him, but not that he changed me and all that. After the last quarter's worship was over at 4 in the morning, Swami Ramakrishna came to the worship room and said to the Swami, "The master wants you." As soon as he was told, the Swami went up to the master in his room on the first floor of the residential quarters. Ramakrishna also accompanied him to attend to the service of the master. So what master told, that also Saradananda Swamiji knows through Ramakrishna. No sooner had the master seen the Swami than he said, "What is this? Expenditure with hardly any accumulation? Jomte na jomte kharach. Allow it first to accumulate well in yourself. Then you will know where and how to spend it. Mother herself will teach." You understand this point? Thakur knew that Swamiji has to use his power in the world. But what Swami did there was to put his bhava into Vedanta. He has to arouse the spirituality in everybody. Example, Thakur's first January. Everybody had different experience. So that is what is Thakur is meaning. Jamte na jamte kharach. You are not yet understood how to apply. When you will get maturity in this, you will understand. And Mother herself will tell you. That means from the reality it will come to you. So this point is very important. Then you will know where and how to spend it. Mother herself will teach. Don't you see what harm you have done to him by injecting your attitude of mind into him? So that is not how Swamiji has to do it. He has to help people. Swamiji has himself said this very thing. If you can help a person grow in the way he is growing, then help him. Otherwise, hands off. That is what Swamiji has to do. Don't force your attitude on him. If you can help him grow in the way he is growing, then help him. Otherwise, hands off. So that Swamiji was not able to understand at that time. He has been progressing till now with a particular mental attitude, the whole of which has now been destroyed. like a miscarriage during the 6th month of pregnancy. What's done is done. Don't act so thoughtlessly from now on. So sometimes we learn only by mistakes. The boy, however, is lucky that greater harm has not befallen him. That is because Thakur is still present, he will correct it. That is the idea. The Swami said afterwards, I became completely flabbergasted. The master could know whatever we did at the time of the worship. What else could I do but remain silent when he scolded me like that? As a result of this, not only was the old spiritual attitude of A completely destroyed, but the new attitude of non-dualism, being difficult to grasp and assimilate quickly, was also misunderstood. And in the name of non-dualism, he would behave like an atheist, sometimes committing improper act or acts contrary to scriptural injunction. Although the master from then taught him the truth of non-duality and affectionately pointed out the mistakes he was committing in the day-to-day acts of his life, it was long after the passing away of the master that A, guided by that attitude, could rightly adjust his daily actions to that ideal. So, this topic of Nashtra Nakoravav is completed here by the example. And now we'll resume the main topic of feigning and all that God's doing. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakasam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Acharyo Ramakrishna Yate Namaha Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanam.